That's
Okay.
odd.
Next keyword, cunt, is what brings to mind when you hear wig? Any crazy wig stories?
When we used to swap wigs.
Oh. Well, back in the very old early days when I was still living here, we would go to Studio One. And I don't know what it is now.
Probably a
CVS.
Chipotle.
Anyway, we went to Studio One, and it was in West Hollywood, and it was this big club, big dance, gay club. And she used to drink back then, and we would get twisted, and I'm not kidding, imagine, roll on the floor, on the dance floor, and be like, let's switch, wig switch.
We would scream, wig switch! And just rip our wigs off and throw them at each other and then put them on.
We would twirl, holding hands and fall down and roll on the floor. I mean, it was like,
Yeah.
what is going on?
Messy.
Wig switch, I love it.
Luckily, we outgrew that a little bit.
A little bit.
All right, what comes to mind when I give you the keyword celebrity? You guys must have met some celebrities in your nightlife adventures. What are your favorite, best, or worst celebrity stories?
My favorite is one year I was doing my holiday show at Casita del Campo, which, is in the basement of a Mexican restaurant, just this small little black box theater where we do Golden Girls. And Parker Posey had just done a movie, The O in Ohio, with Liza Minnelli, and brought Liza Minnelli to my Christmas show.
Wow.
And I always say, Liza Minnelli, when you walk out, when a drag queen walks out and sees Liza Minnelli in the audience, that's like a priest walking out to give the Sunday sermon, and there's Jesus. So I completely ignored her. And I went out into the audience and I said, you guys, a friend of mine went to one of these drag shows recently. You know the drag shows. It's like where the fellas dress up like ladies. I know, I don't get it either. And I'm standing right next to Liza and I said, well, one of the queens was doing me. And you know what they say? Once the drag queens do you, you've made it. And then I look at Liza and I'm like, oh, you don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about, do you? And she burst into laughter. And then, do you know Candy Ass?
Yeah.
I don't know where Candy Ass is right now. But anyway, Candy Ass is a very fun but messy, kind of fucked up drag queen who would zero in on any celebrity.
Yeah.
Just like, wah, wah, like right in their face, no boundaries, no personal space. Anyway, she was there that night, and the next day I called her. I was like, I am so proud of you. You were on your best behavior. You didn't bother Liza last night at all at my show. What? That was really Liza? I thought that was some fucking broken down drag queen.
There's so many. I
know.
I think the two times that I've met so many, but the two times that I've been like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening, was we were doing double wide female at the St. Genesius Theater, which was on Santa Monica Boulevard. And
It's our parody of single white female.
And Susie Sue, who I worshipped.
Mm-hmm.
Susie Sue was sitting on the floor, there couldn't even get a seat with Budgie, and I was just like, we have to go out, and she's going to be this far away.
Yeah, it was closing night, and they were like,
she came with Ron Athey.
it's packed. There are literally people sitting on stage, so be careful. And did they tell you? Because I thought the lights came up and there she was.
I knew that she was, Ron Athey said they were coming, but I didn't know they were going to be sitting on the stage.
Wow.
I was like, shit. And then the other one just happened a year and a half ago, where I got to meet Carol Burnett, who is my spirit animal, who was the biggest influence ever, and that was amazing.
And what was that moment like for you?
It was just kind of like this kind of moment of oh, right, this is why I do what I do. And it was just a little bit of validation just because she laughed so much and she was just like, oh my God, you're hilarious or whatever. And I was just like, thank you. And I was like,
well, it was on
Watch What Happens
Live, and they had the three drag queens, and you did Mrs. O'Higgins, and I mean, you knocked it out of the park. She must have been I'm looking in a mirror from 30 years ago.
I saw that episode. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. So, and did you get to tug and
she
tug
did
and
that
kiss?
She did that. I have some other stories, celebrities I can't tell, but.
Oh, yeah. Well, I must say, when I met Andrea Martin, who is one of my all-time comedy, heroes, sheroes, It was amazing. She's the nicest person. She gives you exactly what, that's not always the case. So, yeah, meeting Andrea Martin was amazing.
It was also different in the 90s, like at Squeezebox and Jackie's 60s, because people didn't have a camera on them.
Yeah.
So things
Right.
weren't documented. So I remember like getting wasted and literally dancing on a sofa out of control with Meg Ryan, or Drew Barrymore showing up and getting on top of the bar and taking her shirt off and performing on stage, and like Debbie Harry jumps up to sing with you or whatever. And it's like those things would never happen now.
Right, because everyone would be filming.
Yeah, it'd be filming.
What comes to mind when we say the keyword dick? There's got to be a lot, ladies.
Where do we start?
Yeah, Cher, we'll start with you, Sherry. You've made a career about singing about it, doing it.
All right, this one involves Joey. It just popped in my head. It involves Joey Arias, who is, the goddess of goddesses,
I thought you were going to say the goddess of dick.
the goddess of everything. We were at Squeezebox, and this guy, Jonah Falcon,
Yeah.
shows up, and he's talking about his 13-inch dick. I'm like, shut up. And he's like, no, really. I'm like, Joey, come with this guy. She's like, let's see it. So we go in the bathroom. It's me, Joey, and Jonah. And he pulls it out, and she's like, bye. And she takes him, and they go back to his house. She's
I can't believe you're telling this story.
She wouldn't care.
I know, but
So she's like, I'm going to take this. Okay. So she's like, this is how she's telling me the story. She's like, he gets a couple inches, and I'm like, okay, just wait. She's like, gotta breathe. Okay, a couple more inches. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, so she's like, finally, Sherry, he's in balls deep, like all the way in. All of a sudden, the door flies open, and it's his mother. Like, Joan, oh, sorry, and closes the door. And she goes, he jumped up and pulled his 13-inch dick out of me so fast that my head went.
wow.
I've sucked 1,000 dicks. I don't have one story.
Last but not least, what comes to mind when we give you the keyword drag race?
I would say, and I say this on stage, that I make fun of Drag Race a lot, but I have never worked more. And touring with, Alaska, Jinx, Bianca, like really, there are very few people that I have dealt with or met from the show that I don't like,
Right.
that I don't get along with. So it just, they say step up your pussy. That's all I'm saying is, like, okay, listen, and I've met Vanjie, and I think she's a total sweetheart.
Yeah.
But what bothers me is somebody who's voted off first for whatever reason, whether it's warranted or not. It was such lightning in a bottle and such a moment when she said her name, but like, that's legendary. Like, honey, legendary to me is year after year after year of night after night after night in a club. And I'm seriously not putting her down, but just the word legendary gets thrown around a lot.
Right, because the journey to legendary can be much quicker. You used to have to work for it and become a folklore and like, girl, may I tell you the story of Miss Sherry Vine? Like, people would know about it. Now it happens overnight and it's legendary. It's iconic.
Well, there was a period, I would say like 6 years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, where we had this conversation with Coco and Varla also, where we were like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Because after 20 years, no one wants to book us because we haven't been on Drag Race.
Right.
And that's when we were like, let's team up and do Battle of the Bitches, because maybe they'll want two. And
let's
now,
do more stage stuff and more
Right.
theatrical
and not
stuff.
put all the target on trying to book bar gigs, because all they
Right.
want are Drag Race girls. But we were all sincerely like a little, ugh. And now it's kind of gone this full circle. First of all, you've got 180 Drag Race queens. And second of all, because of these queens like Bianca and Alaska and Willem that want to work with us, it's like, oh, right, remember, don't forget these queens. And the past couple of years have been busier than ever, like knock on wood.
Right.
Knock on pink neon wood.
I opened for Bianca's UK tour last summer, and the first show I was terrified because it's like 3,000 people sold out, and I'm like, not one person is here for me. And do they even know who I am? And once I went out there, I was like, okay, just do what you do. And I did the first song, and they were going crazy. And then I was like, oh, right, this is They don't know me.
This is what I do.
This is what I do. Entertain people who never heard of me.
Yeah.
No, but it was like amazing. It just the exposure and the experience. And it just kind of was like, oh right, okay. And kudos to Bianca to say like, I want to work with Jackie or Sherry or these other people and Coco.
Right. I love it. You guys also got to return to Wigstock like we never thought would happen. What
So
was that
fun.
experience like to be back together and do it again?
I was like a kid. I got there at the very beginning and I stayed until the very end and I watched and I was like, I love drag.
Yeah.
I fucking love if everybody was turning it out. It was so fun to turn your head and be like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in 15 years. Oh my God, I haven't seen you in 20 years. And I've never seen you. And it was really fun. I had a blast.
It was really fun, but it was a little, I mean, you know, it's just a different vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine it's like the Roseanne reboot. You know, it's like when they first did the pilot, they didn't know if anybody was gonna, you know, watch it, and so it's like, you know, now drag is so mainstream, and it was just a little. I loved it, and it was, you know, great to see everyone, but it was just such a weird vibe, like just so different than the
Also,
original. You know,
They were doing it to film it, so it wasn't just like,
Yeah.
hey, let's go to the park and do we're doing a show.
Right. It's
Yeah.
big business now.
Yeah.
So what's on the Jackie and Sherry big business lineup for the year? A remake of Big Business, perhaps?
Oh my God.
oh, maybe.
God, yes.
Well, we've been talking about murder-suicide. We just can't figure out which
going
one of
first?
who's going first. No,
Well, we got a bunch of Battle of the Bitches shows coming up, and you could look at either one of our websites to see dates for that. A brand new show. We're doing February 19th here in LA at Casita. Then the last week of April, we're doing The Facts of Life with Sam and Drew, the four of us. And Danielle Gaither. And then in August again, we'll be back with Golden Girls.
Any chance you get to see these two legends is a good one. Make sure you check out Battle of the Bitches wherever it is and see these two legendary queens. Yeah. I love having you guys on. So much fun to hear all your stories. And you've both turned it so fiercely that you've both snatched trophies on it.
I didn't even have to vogue.
oh my God, this is crazy. I opted for this one because it looks slightly more insertable. That's why people want Oscars so bad. An Emmy is nice, but
That
come
would
on.
be, yeah, this would be a rough ride.
Yeah.
Now, you guys earlier in the show told us about that one time you may have shared a man's penis, but now it's time for you to do it again because it's time for your lap dance. Yeah!
No, absolutely not. I am not going to put up with this for more than 20 or 30 minutes. Oh my God, careful.
Come
Watch
on,
the
Randy,
makeup.
show them what's it up.
Hello. Oh, wow. Are we allowed to touch?
Yeah, touch all you
Okay.
want.
I'm not Kevin Spacey.
Harriet Weinstein over here. Oh, we got some tattoos. I see a little body hair.
Oh.
I was
Wow.
talking to Andrew Christian this morning.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Really?
Oh, he'll be pleased. Oh, my goodness, that's right. Show them how we do it over here at Hey Qween, Randy.
Lady.
And in the
Lipstick
meantime,
on you.
Lady
I
Red,
know
take
there's
us out with
glitter
some
on
Black
you.
Lady Scream,
I love the
baby.
glitter.
You love the
I love the glitter.
Never comes off.
Hey, Queen. Hey,
Randy.
Hey, Queen. Hey, legends in the house today. Hey, Queen.
Randy's getting a full interview here from Jackie and Sherry. Thank you, sweetie. Thank you. Now, the girls are not going anywhere. We're going to, of course, make sure that they look at all the queens you want to know what they think about. So you're going to tune in for that. Thank you, beautiful Miss Lady Red.
Is there any chicken left?
Thank you to Randy Boone. Of course, thanks to our legends, Jackie and Sherry. And thank all of you, my little gay babies, and we'll see you next time on Hey Qween. Bye, honey.
Can he come back?
You're welcome.